98.1 KZE. On the phone with me today, it's Curtis J. Stewart, Grammy-nominated violinist, composer, artistic director of the American Composers Orchestra. He is coming to Kaatsbaan in Tivoli, beautiful Kaatsbaan Cultural Park, this Saturday and collaborating with string quartet ETHEL. Curtis, thank you for hopping on the phone with me today.
Yeah, very happy to hang with you here.
Yeah. I've been reading up on you, and I'm intimidated.
Oh, no. You know what? That's the first time anybody said that to me, or at least said it out loud, so I appreciate you. You're, in fact, quite brave in that case.
Thank you. You know, I'm just a perma dabbler in the violin, so anytime I talk to somebody who's like really super elite at an instrument that I kind of know how to play, I'm like, oh God, what do I say?
Oh, okay. Well, I kind of hate the word elite. You know, it's like, yeah, it's just I'm just a massive violin nerd. Let's just put it that way. I've been doing this thing for a long time. I've been playing violin probably for 33 years.
Yeah. You started when you were a little kid, right?
Yeah, I started when I was about 3. My mom was a violinist. My dad is a tuba player. He, in fact, actually is a jazz tuba player, and he used to play with Dizzy Gillespie and Chick Corea and all the greats in their big bands, and Charles Mingus in some of his small ensembles. And my mom was a violinist. Her mom was a opera singer in Warsaw, and she moved here when I was born, my mom. And so, yeah, I'm coming from a lot of different backgrounds here, and it all gets kind of mashed together in the music that we'll be doing on Saturday. Yeah,
and of course, you know, you had a lot of opportunity throughout your life to be influenced by a lot of really amazing players, too.
Yes, but Jason Moran played with I was on stage with Ledisi the other week, who's an amazing singer. I just, you know, especially growing up in New York, where I'm just constantly open to a bunch of different styles of music, even though I would say my primary mode is of a classical kind of intention, even though jazz, hip hop, a little bit of experimental music kind of seeps in there. Yeah,
for sure. It seems like in everything I've been reading about you, it seems like there's sort of a hesitancy to embrace the term classical violinist because, you know, it's not just that; it's so much more than that.
Yeah, well, actually, for me personally, this is the argument. For me, I am 100%. I 100% embrace the word classical, but I think anybody who hears the music also hears that the music is questioning itself in terms of what genre it's coming from. I was just thinking about this. That there's so much music that, for example, music of Bartók, music of Copland, Leonard Bernstein. All those they're very classical artists, but you know they each have musics connected to them that are quote unquote outside of the classical world, whether it be Hungarian folk songs, you know, jazz and West Side Story, you know, Appalachian folk music and Leonard and Aaron Copland. And I think my music attempts to address, not that I shouldn't put my own name in there with those 3 greats, but that's not a sign of my big-headedness. It's just where I get my influence. And, you know, I'm thinking about the current folk music, the musics of America, and how they really inform my composition.
Yeah. Was there some of that influence in the new album of Love?
Yes, 100%. There's some stuff by Brahms. There's some stuff by Henry Purcell, When I'm Laid in the Earth, which is a beautiful kind of somber song that it has that lament bass line that's literally those 4 notes coming down the scale. That's something that everybody has kind of harkens back to that one piece. It's a very famous song. But then there's also Body and Soul. There's a little bit of hip hop involved, where I'm kind of using beats and electronics to create rhythmic textures with electronics. And actually, ETHEL is involved. The string quartet. Dorothy Lawson, the cellist in ETHEL, was my teacher when I was in high school. I'm sure she's going to hate me for saying that. But it's just such an honor to play with her. And so we're there. She'll be joining in on a couple of the pieces with her quartet and her string quartet, and so it'll be a mixture of like electronics, solo violin, string quartet, and also there's a video element involved.
Awesome. Yeah, I was going to ask how that collaboration with ETHEL came about, but I guess you already had that connection.
Yeah, we have that connection. We're both on the same. We're on the same roster of artists with Epstein Fox Performances, and it's just actually I play in a string quartet too. It was called Public Quartet, and we have 2 Grammy nominations and blah blah blah. But they weren't available. My quartet was not available for me, so they couldn't do it. So I got the next best thing, which is ETHEL.
Gotcha. And I mean, Kaatsbaan, what an incredible place to bring that collaboration. Have you been there before?
I've never been. Have you been? I've never been.
I've been, but I haven't seen music there. But it is unbelievably beautiful.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't wait to see it. What I'm really worried about are my allergies, actually.
Yeah.
I was just in Hudson. In New York, basically everything comes here to die. There's no allergies down in New York City. So the other week I was up in Hudson, New York, and suddenly my throat started closing up and all that. But I'll take plenty of Zyrtec, and we'll see what happens.
I was going to say, yeah, it is definitely ragweed season. Bring your Zyrtec. That seems to be the one that works for me.
Right.
Because
turns out this was the Zyrtec commercial.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, should be getting paid for this.
Right.
Yeah, that would be a shame to have to cancel the performance due to allergies. But
no, it'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll work around that. That is. This Saturday, June 10th, Curtis J. Stewart is my guest. He is playing in collaboration with ETHEL, which, is not a thing that happens very often. Is there any chance that you might collaborate with them again going forward, or is this kind of just
I hope so. I created some tracks specifically for them. There's a way of creating a click track. I created a 4-part click track that the audience doesn't hear, but each member of ETHEL hears. So that it kind of cues them in to come in exactly where they need to be. And I created it just for them.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we can use it again.
Yeah. You went to all the trouble. You might as well.
Yeah, and I ended up using an 11-part click track for one of the songs at a concert I just did in New York at Merkin Hall. That was the world premiere, so this will be this world, whatever the word for second premiere is, that'll be this up at Kaatsbaan.
Yeah. So you mentioned there was a video component too. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I'm always thinking about the internet and how the music I write can be, displayed on, in digital forms. So I create these little art videos that kind of accompany the music I create. In this case, it happens to be very personal. The album Of Love explores the inspiration of my mom, who was a violinist, and she recently passed away. And so there'll be images of her. You see, I use her violin case. She played violin, so I use her violin case, and I carry it around with me, and I leave it on stage with me. It's this beautiful red, small, tiny little violin case. It almost looks like a mini cello case. And so I think of that little case protecting the violin and holding this inspiration that she gave me. And so there's images of her. There's a biography that there's an autobiography that she created while she was still with us. So I use audio from that biography as she tells her story, which is soundtracked by the violin concerto that I wrote underneath it. And then you see images of her speaking. You see little Greek. She was Greek, so you see these little Greek idols and these trinkets and little elements of her house that she was living in. And so it's like me. It's an invitation into this kind of memorial, but also honoring one of the inspirations in my life, my mom. Yeah,
that's beautiful. That sounds very emotional and very cathartic.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's not supposed to be sad. Mm-hmm. There's one thing there's one song from the album actually called Low, where I'm essentially trying to get my head up, because I know that's what my mom would have told me to do. And the whole time I was her caretaker. For the 4 years I was her caretaker, she was, suffering from glioblastoma, and so it was a really harsh, cruel, deal to be dealt.
Yeah.
But the whole time, I never felt pity for her. She was one of the strongest person I knew. And so I know that in the end she would want me to keep my head up. And so that's kind of part of what these songs are. It's the energy that keeps me up, actually.
Yeah.
So while it is definitely sad and maybe cathartic, it's also, hopefully, it's a little complex in that hopefully it's also uplifting at the same time.
Yeah, celebratory and joyful, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Curtis J. Stewart is my guest. Curtis, thank you so much for joining us on KZE for a couple minutes here. It sounds like it's going to be an incredible, unforgettable night of music, and I hope everybody can get out and check it out. That's Kaatsbaan.org for tickets and info.
Great to talk to you.